How's it going, YouTube? I'm going to make a video kind of recapping how the evaluation went and talk a little bit about the process. I had a lot of questions about, how I did this, how I did that. So I just want to try to cover some stuff that I think will be beneficial if you're trying to get funded. I'm going to share my approach, and let me qualify all that by saying, this is a huge step in the right direction, but as of right now, I don't consider myself successful. I don't consider myself profitable. I'm just funded. And we all know that that can last for a week because I do a lot of reading and I find a lot of people talking about on Reddit or different social media pages where they got their funding and then they blew their challenge. So that's a really common theme, and I've tried to incorporate that into my process so that the transition from evaluation to funding is a smooth one and not much has to change. So for those of you that have been following, this is the template that I used to sort of set some parameters for my pace, what I felt I needed to, you know, to go beyond just the evaluation. In other words, I didn't want to just try to pass the evaluation in a week and then leave myself with no real, strategy, nothing that was repeatable, nothing that I had confidence in. So I just wanted to trade my normal system, my normal day-to-day A plus setups, and set a daily goal that would take me to X amount of profit in X amount of days. I gave myself 2 months to make $30,000. So that's 3,000 per account. That would have been, at that pace, that's $15,000 a month. Okay, I don't need to do much more than that to go full time and pretty much achieve everything I'm trying to achieve. Now I've got my sights set on more than that, but just for a pace to set that was comfortable and low pressure, that's what I decided on. I'm able to do that because I was using. This was when I started this. It was 10 accounts, so I'm at 20 accounts now. I'm going to keep the same pace and just recognize that that's now $30,000 a month in actual profit. So what I did was I created a new template. So this is goal one complete. On Trade initially I had all 20 of my accounts here. The first 10 were the first batch of evals that I started, and then I added about 2 weeks in, and I had 10 more. What's really interesting was by staggering them like that, when this first group passed, here's my second group. They're already halfway done. And honestly, it feels like magic. I mean, I didn't think anything about it. I just, all of a sudden, I've got 10 accounts that are halfway done because I tagged them on, I piggybacked them on accounts that I was already working on. So they were there. I didn't have this column right here where I was keeping track of the money. Really, all I want to do is keep track of the drawdown. So I'm going to hide this column when I'm trading. And my goal is to keep my drawdown as high as possible. When my drawdown is high, it affects, how I go into each trade, how much risk I'm using. I'm more likely to get in and add on a position if my drawdown is full. So everything stems from keeping the drawdown high. Confidence, mental approach, everything. I don't want to look at how much I have, how much I need. I want to make progress and keep drawdown high. So that's, I think, was a big help for me, because obviously if you're trying to trade with $200 of drawdown left, the stress is going to be ridiculous. So to me, it feels like your first priority needs to be keep your drawdown, as keep the tank full. That means taking profit, not letting trades, run $500-600 up and then come back to break even. That will break you. So, for right now, if I see 3 or 4 points, I'm probably just taking it, especially if it looks like it's starting to slow down. I'm getting into some chop, whatever. That's more than enough. I need basically 2 points to hit my daily goal. So if I see 2 or 3 points, I take it. That keeps my drawdown at max. There's no reason for me at this point to be shooting for a lot more than that. Obviously, once I get past the evaluation and the drawdown is I have some cushion, then I get some more flexibility. But for right now, the focus is just passing. And so what I decided to do was, now I've got these 10 PA accounts, right? These are the accounts I'm actually going to make money on. But I'm still treating this as evaluation. My goal is not to make money. My goal is not to buy a house, pay off my car. I'm not thinking about any of that. My goal right now is to pass 10 more evaluations with the exact same process, the exact same strategy, the exact same daily goal that I had when I went through the first one. This worked really well. I finished early. My per day actual was above my per day goal. I had some blowout bad days that I can eliminate by just taking a few steps, and being patient and sticking with my model. So I anticipate this going smoother. I learned a lot from this part of the evaluation, and there's no reason for me to change anything just because these are PA accounts, just because these are actually money accounts now. Because of the way I set the pace for the evaluation, I don't need to look at anything differently. I'm hoping that might make the difference. I think I can see how there's a change in mentality when you go from evaluation to funded, because now you're thinking about your payouts. Well, I want to change that mentality, because that seems to fail for most people. If you look at the stats, and just because you pass an evaluation doesn't mean you're going to make a dime. So knowing all that, I'm trying to prepare myself, put myself in a place to succeed. And this is kind of the way I'm going to approach it. Like I said, this really worked well. So all I'm doing is moving that over to a phase 2 now. I've got 10 PA accounts. If I hit $1,400 in profit, those 10 PA accounts, or those 10 evaluation accounts, will pass, and then I'll have 10 more PA accounts. Well, just like that second batch of 10 piggybacked on the first batch, my PA accounts are now piggybacking on the back of these 10 evaluation accounts. So guess what? If I pass these 10 evaluations, I'm going to be $1,400 in the profit in each of my PA accounts. But I'm not trading the PA accounts. It's just like a benefit of them being attached. But my mindset is still going to be base hits, 790 a day, which really, that's 2 points. Is with this many accounts, 2 points would be $100 a day, basically, or 1,000. So, well, with 10 accounts, yeah. So anyway, this is the pace I set myself up for the first batch of 10, and that worked really well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll keep doing my updates and stuff like that, so y'all can kind of keep track of where I'm going. So after, let's assume that I pass these, then I'll have 20 PA accounts. Well, then I'd be forced to trade PA accounts. What do I do then? How do I transition? My plan, someone was suggesting that I only trade half of them and keep 10 in reserve. But the whole purpose of trading the 20 accounts is to just maximize the profit, right? I'm going to be paying, 10% in fees eventually. I've got taxes, about half of this is going to go to the government and fees. So that's why I'm trading 20 accounts, because 10 of those take care of all the fees, all the taxes, everything. And that leaves me 10 accounts pure profit. If I only trade 10 accounts, well, then I'm looking at 5 of those accounts now it's going to take to pay fees. You see what I'm saying? It cuts my profit down quite a bit. So my best answer to solve that problem is, once I have these accounts all funded, I'm going to start more evaluation accounts. You can have as many evaluation accounts as you want. You can only trade 20 PA accounts. So I'm thinking that I will tag maybe another 10. Well, I'll wait for the 90% off sale, and I'm going to buy 10 more evaluation accounts, and I'm going to set up another goal just like this. I want to keep myself constantly passing challenges. I want to use the exact same strategy, steps, mentality, daily goals, everything. I don't need to change anything. If I just do what I've been doing, I'm going to make more money than I can spend. But the whole key is keeping the mentality, the psychology right, because I'm telling you, that's 90% of this. Learning this little simple, silver bullet strategies and things like that, using DR, stuff like that is not that complicated. But understanding and being able to pull the trigger or not pull the trigger when you shouldn't makes all the difference. And I know most of you, especially in conversations I've had with you, you're saying the same thing. So we understand that there's a lot more to it than just knowing when to buy and when to sell. So I'm hoping that all this extra work and preparation into a sort of a framework of how to approach the challenge and transition from the challenge to the funded accounts will serve me well. And if this works, then hopefully you guys that are still working on evaluations and having to go through that same process of transition into your PA accounts can benefit from it. I'm thinking that I do want to have that insurance policy, that backup, but I don't want to cost myself half of my accounts just to sit there and do nothing during that time. So I'm going to trade the full 20 accounts at one time, and basically 3 points becomes 60 points. Okay, I need one silver bullet trade a week at 5 points, and I don't need to do anything else. That's the benefit of using this mini. So there's no that's the whole reason I wanted to use that many was to give myself that kind of profit multiplication. So I'm not going to use these accounts as my backup. I'm going to trade up another 10 evals and get them close, and then not pass them. I'll pull them off to the side, take them out of my managed group, and I'll just carry that couple $100 a month as my insurance policy. If you think about it, say I get them at 90% off, all right? It'll cost me less than $200 a month, or right around $200 a month, to keep 10 of them. That's the same as holding back 5 or holding back 10 of my PA accounts. But I'm still going to be making the money from the full 20 accounts, which will compensate me for the couple $100 I'm spending to hold those 10 evals, if that makes sense. So if I blow these 20 accounts, I'll have 10 evals sitting there within $100, ready to turn back into full PA accounts. So I don't know, if that's been tried before, but I know for my mindset, it's the best of both worlds. I still have an insurance policy, but it's not costing me half of my PA accounts of potential profit that I could be trading every day. So that's going to be a lot of money. If it's just sitting there as an insurance policy, that could be $10,000 in a month, right? So I don't want to spend that much or not make that much in order to have that that buffer. So we'll see how this works. Something else I came up with was I looked back at my the first set of evaluations, and I decided, I'm trying to figure out what my daily loss limit's going to be, things like that. I've got a daily goal. So my worst day was right here. I lost a little over $5,000. Actually, on one account that would have been like $550 on my lead account, which would be like a 10 point total loss for the day. I'm going to use this as my daily loss limit for one reason, because I've already lost that much and I already recovered from it. So I know this isn't the end of the world. I can lose this much, and it's a speed bump. If I'd set a $7,000 or $8,000 daily loss limit, that's water I've never been in before. I think it's just from, like I said, everything is about mentality. It needs to be about psychology. And from that aspect, if I use this as my daily loss limit, I know when I hit that, all I have to do is go to bed, close the charts, get back up, hopefully not have a second day like that. But I know how to recoup from that. I've done it before, and going forward, that's going to serve me well if I do get in this position again. And these days are going to happen. There's no way around it. You're going to have bad days. I had some bad days. I had a terrible week right here. Well, not terrible, but negative. It was in the red. And this was after I was only $200 away from passing. I dropped a third of my account. If you don't think mentality and psychology has a lot to do with this, I don't know what to tell you. This was everything was gravy until I got within $200, and then I just lost my mind and decided I was going to quit following all my rules, and I was just going to go get that $200. And this was a bad couple days for me. I went, a third of my account in the hole. My drawdown was, around 1,500. It hadn't been that low since I started. I'm thinking, I just lost a good portion of everything I spent all this time for. And in my mind, everything was, doom and gloom. All these negative thoughts and doubts and everything started popping up in my head. And I had to fight that back and get up and basically back to basics, right? Back to basics, fall back on my A+ setups. Don't try to get cute. Get some base hits. And then that, progressed into a nice little string of wins that carried me through and helped me pass those evals. So you got to learn from your mistakes. You got to find ways. We're trying to build an edge, and every time you can eliminate a mistake or find something that works and improve upon it, that's what you do. Get yourself a lesson list. Everything you learn, good, bad, whatever, write it down, reflect on it, don't make these mistakes again. Use the things that you learn to get better. Otherwise, you know, we're just spinning our wheels if we don't use what we're learning to try to improve. So thanks for all the feedback. I made the mistake of putting a post on Reddit and the traffic over there is nuts. So I think it got like hundreds of shares and 80,000 views already. So I'm going to try to make some of these videos that I can just point people to for, you know, information, and that way I don't have to explain the same thing over and over and over and over. So I get a lot of questions about how many I'm trading, how I've got them grouped, what, you know, just all kinds of stuff. So if you're one of those people who are, you know, wondering how I'm doing this, I've been trading a year on 500K funded, but now what, right? Like I said, that's a great step in the right direction, but at the end of the day, it didn't put a dime in my pocket. And now I'm invested because I paid lifetime fees on those 10 accounts. So I shelled out $1,600 to make sure I don't have to pay a monthly fee, and I'm not planning on blowing them. I mean, I'm thinking positive all the way. I feel like if you take the monthly, you know, you only get one chance to make that decision. You're either going to pay monthly for the rest of the time you have the accounts, or you pay the one-time fee. The monthly is like $85. The one-time fee was $160. So I'm basically saying I believe I'm going to keep these accounts, and I don't want to have to pay them, you know, $1,600 a month or $1,000 a month for the rest of the time I have them, because I'm going to plan on having them for a while. So good luck to everybody that's in these challenges. You just, you know, keep on grinding at it, set yourself a pace that's manageable, and, you know, don't try to catch stuff up. You know, when you have a bad day, just forget about it, start over. When you get close, don't change anything, don't change anything, don't change anything. If I could give you any advice, that's it. Do what got you there. You know, there's a saying, you dance with the person that brought you. Well, I got to the finish line and I decided to dance with somebody else, and I almost got wrecked. So can't think of much else right now. Yeah, y'all have a great day and good trading.